Hi, everybody. Hi, Tamar. So today we want to talk about the Maesters and their role this season.
Yeah, the part with Sam and Jim Broadbent, the actor. Not only you get a glimpse to the Maesters, like their lives,
Right, what
like
they do
work,
day
work,
to
work,
day.
work, work,
No play.
but also the ideology behind them.
Right.
And so yeah, it was the first time we heard something like that about the Maesters.
Right, and the Maesters, just so we're all on the same page, they're like the science class,
Yeah.
the knowledge class.
The knowledge class. Yeah.
They have this scientific method that they question everything.
They were inspired by the medieval church.
Okay.
More
The monks.
in the church. They were basically like the keeper of knowledge. First of all, they also had like a really rigorous routine of work, studying,
Right,
work, studying,
right.
copying.
It was very basic and very Spartan, just like the Maesters.
Yeah, it was part of their ideology as well, not to waste time on idle, being a sloth. This is like a sin.
Clothes and your family
and not
and
be
stuff.
idle. Time is very important to use it correctly. If not for work, then for prayer or to studying. They were the keeper of knowledge and the keeper of memories. But unlike the Maesters, they were part of the church, and they were under the church restriction.
Right.
To what
God was above them.
Yeah, what knowledge can you study and what knowledge can you doubt? Because they didn't doubt anything from the scriptures. They doubt maybe the point of view of other scholars before them.
Right.
But not the scriptures themselves.
Right. And here you can see the difference, because when Jim Broadbent, what he tells Sam, basically what gives meaning to your life is not God, not religion, but knowledge and keeping of memory. Yeah. So he says that what separates us from the most basic state, the animal state, is not divine providence and that God gave us everything to rule. No, the fact that we learn, that we know, that we pass on the knowledge, then we can become more than just animals living from meal to meal and not knowing anything outside, about the outside world. And this is what helps you survive. It helps you create a civilization and stuff. Basically the memory, that's the important thing, and that's what they are doing, keeping the memory alive.
Yeah. And maybe the only reason that we are reading Game of Thrones or the Song of Ice and Fire is because someone wrote this book and kept the memory of all of these events, and put them in order. And memory is very, very important.
Why?
Because we have our own personal memory, but also we have cultural memory and historical memory. For example, the whole birth of nationalism, not necessarily as a political phenomenon, but more as the cultural phenomenon, was led by historians, basically, by intellectuals. They invented a myth, as one scholar called it, looking back at the past and connecting it to the present. In most cases, in order to serve like a
political purpose.
Political purpose. You can be Napolitano or Milanese, but you're both Italians. So let's cut the divide line and just mishmash you together. And the Romans are like their focal point. They're like the focus point. You were both descendant of the Romans.
Right. So they have to cherry pick and choose specific events and specific people and peoples and connect themselves. So basically, when you create memory, it's like a personal memory. It's not everything that happens. You choose the events and the people and you connect the dots the way you want to tell the story in order to say something about the world today. The story that he's telling, he's saying there was the wall and then there was the Robert's Rebellion. And we survived because of knowledge, so we are important now because we are the keepers of knowledge.
Yeah, we have a clear example here from Israel. The importance of the Holocaust memory. Part of the Jewish national identity was formed by historian Jews that started in the late 19th century to write the history of the Jews. Nobody wrote the history of the Jews as like a people. They wrote the Bible was considered the history and stuff like that.
But that was way back when.
Yeah, and the Zionists basically took the history and the Jewish history from the Bible to
the pre-Israeli military.
Let's say, from the Bible to the IDF. This is like the...
And in between, it's not important. So this is how you cherry-pick memory to create something.
We were sleeping somewhere, outcast, whatever. The church example as keeper of the memories, it's very, very important and even widely known. What is the Middle Ages? Why did they call it the Middle Ages? Because the only history that was like common was the church history. What happened to Jesus, the father of the church, the saints, the martyrs, whatever, and until the current day, and we wait until Jesus will come back.
Okay.
And they forgot about all the classical time. They forgot about it. Greece, Rome, and all the knowledge and and philosophy from that time. The Renaissance is to resurrect the memory, rebirth of the memory of the past, basically.
And this is what the Middle Ages. It's between the classical period and the Renaissance.
Yeah, the Dark Ages. They forgot. They forgot about their past, and they didn't even know what. Most of the people didn't even heard about the Romans and the Greeks.
Right.
And the monk people, the people in the monasteries, they knew about them, but they kept it to themselves.
Okay, and we'll go back to that. So in the Renaissance, you can see Maesters-like people saying we need to use logic in order to understand the world and know what we need to do. But in the dialogue, in the show, when they were talking, when the Maester was telling Sam about the memory, and using logic, I felt there was a kind of flaw in his logic. We mentioned it in the episode review. Basically, he used the history to say, this happened before, and this happened again, and we had catastrophes, but we were fine, thanks to knowledge. So the wall will stay there. If something happened in the past in one way, it will happen again, the same way. That's a fallacy.
You obviously haven't read Plato.
Right. What was will never be again. The links are in the description. The water tastes the same or better?
Better.
Much better. There's always something new happening and history changing. So before you had a World War II, you didn't have anything like that. So you couldn't say, okay, it won't happen this way. And World War I, that was even a better example. The wars were one way before, so they'll be the same again. No, now it's different because everything is changing. So I don't know, I think that's a recipe for disaster, saying everything will be fine because it was fine before. That's a little bit conservative and unscientific-like.
Yeah, and even they have a bigger flaw, like with all their progressive ideology, let's cut bodies and check what there is inside. They're like cult-like. I mean, they.
In what way?
The way that the higher you get in the hierarchy of the cult, the more you expose to knowledge. Basically,
it's like Scientologists.
Yeah, it's like a cult, and also there's some hypocrisy in it because say knowledge is so important, and knowing is so important, but in a way they consider knowledge as very dangerous.
No, but they want to learn and to think
they
about this
want
stuff.
to learn, but it's dangerous. They even keep the knowledge not only from everybody, locking the books, from even the minor maesters. Not every maester even can access the knowledge.
This is why they have the secret room.
Exactly. Knowledge is dangerous. You need to keep it locked and behind bars.
Can you imagine a library in a university today, and there's a room, and they tell you you can't go in there?
You have something similar even in Judaism. That the more advanced you are in the religion, and the more the bigger scholar you are, you can access dangerous books, like the Book of Zohar. Maybe you can even read the Bible.
I think it's not only in Judaism, it's something very religious, because in Catholicism, you cannot read the Holy Scripture unless you have been trained to read them. So what you're saying, they're not evolved yet according to their own values and professed values.
Basically, they're saying the world will be fine as long as we here keeping the knowledge safe. And then the memory will come from our keeping it safe. But it's
we are the middlemen.
It's hypocritical, and also it's flawed because
counterproductive.
Counterproductive. The knowledge is so important, but you keep it inside to your own self, and you send all these maesters everywhere, giving them knowledge to be as an advisor and teachers. But you tell them what to teach, and not even them, if they don't have the chains, they can't access all the knowledge they want to. They have to go through the chain of command. The Citadel is an amazing place, even out of place, I would say, to this world.
Right.
And it's like the Library of Alexandria. This hub of knowledge that kept all millions of books, or 1 million of books at least, with all this knowledge from Greek and Roman and whatever.
They even have the lighthouse.
Yeah, I even have the lighthouse. But as its function, it more reminds me of like the monastery from The Name of the Rose, if you read it or saw the movie.
Read parts of it.
Like a huge monastery in the mountains of Italy, somewhere in the 12th, 13th century, with millions of books there, but they were like kept secret. You know, you need to be like a monk. Even not every monk was able to read this book. And in the story itself, you have like the bad character in the spoiler alert. The bad,
30 years is enough.
Yeah, the bad character in the no, because you should read it. The bad character in the story,
Evil character.
The evil character in the story was somebody that poisoned pages of Aristotle, the comedy. You know,
why?
There's a famous book by Aristotle about analyzing tragedy, and in the movie in the book movie, they found or they kept Aristotle's comedy about comedy, and this evil guy poisoned the pages because say comedy is evil, laughter is evil. The devil can get inside when you laugh.
Laughter is a devilish wind.
The point is, knowledge is dangerous in the Middle Ages. You have to keep it inside. And, you know, when you see the consequences of the invention of the printing press, they were maybe a little right, you know, because when knowledge was spread, I mean, from their own point of view, when the knowledge spread all around, they lost their monopoly. And they had to adapt, and they had to create this index of forbidden books, which never helped, you know, didn't work, obviously.
Right. Usually it helps you become like a best-selling author or something.
Yeah.
But let's use all that in order to make a bold prediction about the Maesters, right? They are the keepers of knowledge. They keep the most important knowledge behind the lock and key.
Yeah.
And we know that every character and institution in the story has to pay a price, something that is inherent to their own identity. So if they're keeping the knowledge to themselves, if we use logic, basically they will have to lose their monopoly on knowledge in some way, and it will have to spread out. And Sam could play a critical role there because he's telling this Maester, I have to share this knowledge. With
you already seen a foreshadowing, like when you read the book, you know, he told Gilly, like, this is important, John has to know.
Was he breaking a rule? Maybe he shouldn't have spread that knowledge. I don't know, I see Sam maybe being somewhat like Edward Snowden, like taking a hard drive, downloading everything, sending it away, boom, and then so he will be like the undoing of the Citadel as it is. So the institution will lose power. But as happened in real history, the real values of the Maester will win out in the long term, even though they will lose like their personal power.
Yeah, maybe even there will be something ironic about the Maesters. According to Jim Broadbent, the speech he gives Sam, he says the wall was always there keeping us safe. The walls of the Citadel maybe will fall, you know, and the knowledge will be spread, and they will lose something of their the monopoly and hold of knowledge. And Sam could be the big winner of the entire story.
He could be like the Night King of the Maesters. He will bring like spreading the disease, the virus amongst men. And we know that the wall will fall sooner or later. We expect it to fall. Yeah. So if it falls at the end of the season, I can see Jim Broadbent saying like, "Oh, I was wrong."
This process also has some equivalence in history when the Mongols came and a lot of Arabs were keeper of knowledge, Arabian
Iraq,
keeper of knowledge, fled. It brought Aristotle and Plato to the European medieval world, and which was translated and set into motion.
Right.
And
yeah. So maybe they will have to flee the Citadel and Old Town, and that's how the knowledge will spread.
Yeah, maybe the Dothraki will come through the south.
Being like the Mongols. No, but it was the Allah that's running away. It's not Allah attacking. It's a different Allah. It's a different Allah. So what do you think? Be sure to mention in the comments. And if you want to support our work and our channel, that will be very much appreciated. There's a link in the description, or just go to patreon.com/GOT Academy. If you've been enjoying our videos for a long time, you should definitely do that, and you'll get 7 extra videos during the season and monthly extra videos throughout the end of time until the wall falls. So hit like if you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you all next time. Bye, everybody. יצא טוב ומעניין, אני חושב.